Hey guys, and today we have kind of a special video for you. We're going to be doing a first look at the Myth of Empires closed alpha. I was lucky enough to get a key from the developers, so I decided let's go ahead and make a video about this because this game seems right up the alley for our channel, and we wanted to give you guys an idea of what the game really feels like. Do keep in mind that all of the footage you're going to see and the things we're going to talk about are alpha, so there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. There's a lot of polish that needs to be added, but the core gameplay aspects seem to kind of be there, so that's kind of what we're going to talk about as we get into this. So first up with Myth of Empires, obviously there's a lot of polish that this game still needs. I mean, yes, there's a lot of lag, yes, there's a lot of little minor issues, like there not being very good optimization, so if you're running on a poor PC like me, you're going to have some frame rate drop, and you're going to have to run it on some lower graphics. I mean, with my entire group of about 20 people that we had in the alpha within the guild, we ended up having everybody running it at under about 50%, excluding the one guy who had a 3080 and like 32 gigs of RAM and like a top-of-the-line processor. Like, this guy had the PC to game on. So unless you're running one of those, currently the optimization just really isn't there. Again, it's a closed alpha, so that's really understandable, but it's something to just keep in mind and keep an eye on as they keep working on the game. And when you buy it, just know that worst case scenario, even with the poor optimization right now, I can run it with a 970, not a 970 Ti, a 970 graphics card on my computer with a little bit of the lower graphics settings. So it is what it is. Just keep that in mind as you go forward. Keep an eye on that process. We'll probably make another review on this game when it does officially come out into early access. But in its current state, that's just something that the devs have recognized, and they've made it very clear that they're working on. So once you're in the actual game and you're going to be able to create your character. And when you create your character, I was genuinely surprised to find how much I was able to enjoy the fact that you had so many character creation options. I mean, you could do everything from your cheekbones, your nose, tattoos, skin color, basically anything you would want. There wasn't, sadly, we'll just call it a special bit slider for male or female, and I don't think they plan on adding one. But you never know. I mean, this game is still in early access. There's a lot of things, but I was genuinely impressed with the amount of options they had for a closed alpha in the character creation. In the ones I've played in the past, it was pretty much just a generic character you got stuck with maybe a couple hairstyles. So that was definitely nice to see. Now, after that, you have the in-game play. So let's talk about the first things you're going to be doing when you boot up Myth of Empires. So when you boot it up, you're going to spawn in one of several different areas on the map. And the map you get is decided upon which area on the server list that you choose to go to. You will have to start on a PvE server. This is something I think everybody in the alpha has agreed was actually a really good choice, because you're able to go over to a PvP server, but you have to get to level 20 and be in a guild that is level 2 in order to do so. If you've ever played something like Ark or Last Oasis, then you know how much of a noob killer, I guess I would call it, that the players can be, and it can really ruin the experience for new players if they don't have a handle on the game. So we really enjoyed the fact that you had to level up a little bit, and you had to learn the base mechanics of the game, as well as being a guild that had a very small amount of establishment. I mean, I think we hit guild level 2 in like a day and a half with like 12 people at the time, so it really wasn't too bad. But anyways, once you are in the game and you're walking around, you're gonna have to pick up, you know, your usual branches and stones off the ground, maybe pick some grass, kind of like Ark style where you walk up and hit E on everything in order to get your starting resources. Once you get all your tools built, you're going to want to be getting some food, and when you're in that state, it's really a struggle early on to feed yourself. The animals in this game, before you have armor, are absolutely brutal, and like a boar that's level 3 can just destroy you. So going and getting that food is definitely a challenge in the beginning, and having an extra person along with you doing that starting experience really can make a huge difference. So that's another thing you want to keep in mind. Spawning wise, you basically have, your traditional grass mat or a bed. And when you spawn in a grass mat, you get one spawn, and then that grass mat is consumed. Once that grass mat's consumed, you can no longer spawn that spot anymore. Beds, however, I think they're currently broken. I think they're going to bind them to each player. But currently, the entire guild can spawn on any bed that you've placed down as many times as they want. And so that was definitely an issue we had that I don't think many people liked. I think they're going to fix that, but that's just probably an alpha thing that they just haven't finished yet. So once you get all your tools done and you've got your starting equipment, maybe some wooden armor, you've got your stone axe, your stone hammer to use to mine, you're going to want to go around and maybe set up a small base where you then start on the crafting table kind of aspect of the game. You're going to be able to create this traditional style of survival game where you have like your forge to smelt your bars. You have what's called, I think, a casting table to actually craft stuff with those bars. I kind of liked that. That was a unique name for it rather than just like the smithy. I thought that was a good way to go, as later on you do actually have to smelt things down and then temper them in order to create them. So there's a different process for different types of materials. So like bronze, you're going to be using that casting table. Now, in order to make all this stuff a little bit easier, you have skill points. Skill points are used to unlock new recipes, and recipes in this game, there's a lot of them. I don't think they're going to give us 5 points per level when the game actually comes out. I'm assuming it's going to be 1, maybe 2, because there's so many, but I'm leaning towards 1, which is going to make it so you really need to play with groups. Otherwise, you're just not going to be able to craft like half the stuff in the game, as playing solo was a challenge for the first hour I played it. It was really bad. So again, highly recommend, and you'll hear me say this many times as we talk about this game. This game is not solo friendly. This game is about the grind, about working as a team to accomplish things. It has no solo friendly aspects pretty much whatsoever. You're going to get stuck at maybe level 10 on the PvE server and just hate your life if you're going to play this game solo. Now, you can get to 20, you can play solo, you can get all the way probably to max level, which I believe is going to be 60. But again, playing on a PvE server, these games aren't designed for that. Like, it's not like Ark where there's these bosses you can go do. Yes, they exist within the game, but it's just a harder version of the bandits that are like already everywhere. So it's not really anything exciting. No one really wants to be on PvE. So that's definitely something you generally want to get off of. So do expect that going into this experience, it's been built and balanced around the PvP experience. We actually haven't had the chance to do a lot of PvP yet. I think I fought like one dude for like 3 seconds when I got on the PvP server. So we will be talking more about that in the part 2 of this video. So do look forward to that if you guys want to know how the PvP actually is. Now let's talk about the Thrall or worker or soldier or whatever you want to call it system real quick. This is pretty straightforward. It's not too complicated. It works similar to how it would in Conan Exiles. You have 2 options. You can either go and knock someone out, drag them back and put them on like this little rack, and then you will start to tame them essentially. And after about anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what level they were, you will then gain control of them, and you can use them to do all sorts of different things. You can have them sit in ballista towers, you could have them work on a bench, you could have them fight for you, you could have them do a whole assortment of different things. But essentially this system works very similar to, again, Conan Exiles. Now, as far as the other system goes, you have a non-Conan Exile style, which I actually kind of enjoyed personally, and that's the option to go and pay someone to work for you. Now, this currently isn't a system where you have to like constantly pay them a wage or anything. It's more so you walk up, they're like, hey, I want these specific things, please. And if you can provide them for me, I will then become your thrall. Usually it's pretty cheap right now. I think they'll increase the cost of these things as time goes on with the higher level ones, because currently they're just all the same general costs in general. Like it's, 7 cooked meat or 12 bandages or a wooden helmet, and recruiting a level 30 or 40 thrall for that is just way too easy. Now, there weren't too many that I found that were above level 30 or 40 that you could actually pay to recruit. To get those ones, you would either have to train up your own soldier that you had previously recruited, or you would have to go to like the major city where you could then recruit them there if you were able to knock them out and then tame them, you know, the Conan Exile style of way. Or you could do it with, in some cases, at like bandit camps, you might find a little mini boss there that you could tame. But in general, like, do expect that it's just basically Conan Exiles here. Like, these Thralls do these same things they do in Conan Exiles. The only major difference is instead of having them kind of stand in place and defend, you can have them follow you around. You can give them orders. You can tell them to stand in place, to attack anything within a certain range, attack certain types of creatures, all sorts of different things. You can do formations. Right now, we were only able to unlock one at a time that we're able to use in combat purposes. So it is a challenge to be able to get all those later unlocks and those levels in what they call the command talent tree. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the specialization talent tree expertise thing here in just a second. But generally speaking, you're going to have just that one for probably the first like 50 hours, unless they rebalance it, which I think they will, because currently it's extremely hard to get to the point where you can control 2 Thralls in combat at a given time. And it goes all the way up to 5. I mean, I've got 50 hours in this alpha now, and I still can't control 2 Thralls. So really, as one of the ending points here, I wanted to talk about the quote-unquote talent points, talent trees, expertise kind of a system. So talent points, first off, are something that you're going to get that will allow you to unlock new recipes. Then there you have like a skill-based system. I don't really know what to call it. I don't remember what it was called in game, but it was essentially you would put in points, and you could put in points of expertise, which you would get one of every 2 levels. One of these points would then double or sometimes triple, quadruple, or all the way up to 12 times when you had 5 points of expertise in it. So just to give you an example here, if I put 5 points of expertise into my one-handed skill tree, then I would then get 12 times the experience anytime I used a one-handed weapon. Now, the devs currently have it set up so that you can take points in and out with expertise and put them in different things as much as you want freely. I do think they plan on nerfing this. We have confirmation. We had one of our guild members reach out to the devs and ask about this feature. All they said was, don't worry, we have something planned. So whatever that means, I think it's going to be, once you put the expertise point in, it's locked. You can't change it around. It's just stuck there. And I think that's a good system, because that forces your guild to work together in order to spread out what you guys expertise in. But either way, specialize in. There you go. That's the word. It forces your guild to specialize each person into a different role. So maybe you have someone that's really good at chopping wood, and another person who's really good at mining, and maybe another person who is really good at, I don't know, say planting things, another guy who's really good at ordering people in combat, another guy who's really good at mounting and riding horses, or another guy who's good at training horses, so that the whole guild can have their own horses and similar stuff to that. So it's interesting. I really like this system. I think it gives you a way to specialize, but everybody can still do everything. There's no limit. It gives a lot of I guess Life is Feudal vibe, but not as hardcore as Life is Feudal, to where you have to do one very specific thing. So I think it's great. I'm looking forward to see how they change this system. It's going to encourage cooperative play, which I think in this genre is something you really have to have a lot of. So hopefully this will increase the cooperative play and encourage it even more so. Now, just as a closing statement, again, we're going to talk about some of the late game siege stuff, the PvP, in the next video, so part 2. Do keep an eye out for that. It should be coming out within a week or so on this channel. I'm really excited for it. We have participated in a very small amount of it, but I don't want to make a review until we have more of an idea and more experience as to what's actually happening. If you guys do want to get involved in this alpha and you see this video in time, I believe it ends on Friday the 22nd if you are in the US. However, in their time, it's like basically Saturday morning, because I think this is being developed in Korea or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure where the developers are from. I just know it's either Korea or Japan or China or something. And that's it is what it is. They're over there. They have different time zones, so I don't know what their actual end time is. I just know for us, it ends on Friday in the evening. So we will probably be putting out that video either sometime early next week or maybe a little bit earlier than that over the weekend or something if we decide to be able to get it done. Just depends, as we have a lot of content in the work. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please smash that like button. It helps so much with the YouTube algorithm, and it really helps us just grow and be able to reach more people and tell them about this game. If you guys are interested in joining a guild, please feel free to join our Discord. I'll have my editor put it up here on screen for you, or just look down in the description below and there should be a link. We would really love to have you guys in it, as this game requires a lot of people. Again, it's an Atlas kind of a game, or a Last Oasis kind of a game. So you're going to be having 100 up to 200 person guilds, and we need people. So if you want to be a part of that, and you want to be a part of my guild with my community, please feel free to apply to that. Just join the Discord server, and we will let you know when we're setting it all up. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.